So as you all may very well know, ELU is a quite young university. We were founded a few years ago, and we're very much focused on the tech and IT domain. So the university was founded in response to the tech skills gap, specifically in the Netherlands, but also wider EU, meaning that a lot of companies are, of course, looking for tech talent, but that there's not necessarily enough local talent or not talent which is actually trained academically with the skills that they require on the work floor. So we see a higher need for tech professionals, new tech roles as well, but perhaps a mismatch in terms of these skills or the knowledge that you'll be learning at a more traditional university versus the skills that employers are really looking for as you get started with your job. This leads to a need for a different educational offer, which is very much the mission that we're serving. As you'll see here, we are really focused on developing job-ready tech talent. So this means that when you graduate, you should have the skills, both the technical skills, but also leadership or business skills that you need as a tech professional, but also have received maybe some mentoring and coaching for your career development. As you've seen perhaps in the programs already, but what you'll be seeing later on in the curriculum is that we're not only focused on your technical skills. Surely that's very much the focus in the first and in the second year to, of course, get you the hard skills, whether it's as a software engineer or developer or AI scientist, but also business skills. So how do you actually communicate your product, for example, to a sales team or to a stakeholder in the company or outside the company. And then finally, of course, graduating with a university. And finally, this is the general program structure. So again, today I'll be focusing in the curriculum a bit more on software engineering. However, the general structure is the same. You will see it's a 3-year program. We're able to cram a little bit more in a part-time program because we're using mostly the full calendar year instead of just an academic year with a lot of summer holiday, winter holiday. You'll be studying for most of the year since most of our students are also working at the same time either way. So in the first year of study, you're really doing the basics in terms of software programming. Then you'll go in the second year into your specialization. And then in your third, we'll be covering the business skills such as agile working, agile methodologies, but also consultancy skills, working with clients, pitching to clients. And then you'll be doing your final graduation project where you put all that learning into practice. And then, of course, report and present back to the examination committee. So looking at this in a little bit more detail, you can here see the different modules that are covered in each year. And you should know that within, of course, each year you will have short breaks. So you have breaks between the years, but also breaks between the modules. So there will be short breaks that are planned within your program. In your calendar. So during year 1, we're really looking at the intro to programming, intro to coding. You'll be learning a few programming languages during that year as well. Then you're going into specific programming languages or specific tools for your specialization and do a technical larger project in year 2. Before moving on to year 3, where you're really focusing, as I said, on those business skills. Here, don't get confused that freelancing means that you necessarily will be educated to be a freelancer, because you certainly need those skills of connecting with, understanding stakeholders, also if you're working in-house in a company. As I said earlier, this is something we hear every time from talking to our partners in the field, how important it is to be able to translate your tech knowledge to someone who might not be so technical. So for example, maybe you are working on different models, different algorithms, and you actually need to get the budget or the time approval from executives in your company or leadership. You certainly must be able to explain the AI, for example, or explain the algorithm in a way that a non-techie could understand as well. So this really goes into these communication, these presentation, these negotiation skills as a professional. And then finally, during your final project, you will be working on an end-to-end project, either within your own organization. So if you're already working, you are more than welcome to do it with your current employer, or you could be doing something independent. So this could mean that you're doing something completely of your own design. If there's something like a passion project that you really want to work on, in that case, of course, you are going to be working with a mentor throughout your graduation project, and you will have to have it approved by the mentor in terms of complexity, etc. Or we will also have a selection of projects that are brought by our partners. These would be mostly partners in the Netherlands, but this would be a competitive kind of selection for the projects that are brought by the partners. So I'm afraid that would not be something that is always possible for every student in the program. So you have quite some flexibility in terms of what that final project will look like. And then, of course, afterwards, you'll have to write a detailed report and also present it in front of an examination committee. And finally, but here's what it actually would typically look like pretty much on a weekly basis. So again, to repeat myself, is that you will have the flexibility of being an online student and logging in wherever you are in the world, whenever you want, but at the same time, you are part of a cohort. This also means that you are part of a certain chronology and a sequence of learning. So you will have to stick to deadlines, you will have to stick to a schedule of also live sessions and workshops to keep up with that cohort. These are the different things that happen on a weekly basis. So at the start of the week, you will log into the course platform called Campus, and you will see your material, your content for the week, as well as the project that you'll be working on, focusing on that week. Then you will be looking into the project and probably getting started with that. And on usually a weekday evening, you'll have a workshop with your course facilitator, and you'll be meeting with different course facilitators, of course, during your studies based on the module and the topic that they specialize in. But it's usually a workshop around 1.5 to 2 hours on a weekly basis, where you're really doing some work together, getting some more of the theory behind the work you're doing, and of course also leaving room for some questions that you want to ask the faculty. Then you'll be introduced to a method called action learning. You can kind of think of it as the homework group study sessions that you would have in a regular library at a regular traditional brick and mortar university. In this case, we're introducing you to a specific method that you can use to kind of problem solve, be it in relation specifically to the program, to the content that you're learning, but also a bit more general in terms of your career progression. So perhaps you, for example, have a technical interview for the first time, and you can then use the wisdom of other students in your program to help think about different actions and strategies you can use to prepare yourself for this. This is also a method that you can often use in different aspects of your life. We've definitely found that students have found it useful to also use in their personal or professional life outside of ELU. And finally, maybe later on in the week, you've been working on your project, on your content, and you realize you need some support. In that case, you can book some time with your mentor during their office hours and bring your questions there. These could be questions directly related to your assignments, to your program content, the coding you're doing, etc. But definitely also feel free to bring in maybe some questions around your career or career counseling. So it's not limited to only the program content itself. So that was shortly a bit about the vision. Now I'll be diving a little deeper into the educational model. So in short, here you can see some of the cornerstones of the ELU learning experience, be it as a bachelor or a master student, which is competency-based learning, project-based learning, our employability focus, and peer-to-peer learning, so the learning community. The first one means that at ELU, our programs are designed around skills or competencies, and these competencies have been identified in conversation with people in the market. So this is people who are among our faculty, but also outside with our partners, and listening to them and hearing what are the actual skills that you want to see as a new person joins the team. And then taking these as the building blocks of the curriculum. So again, these are the technical skills, but certainly also other interpersonal skills you need as a professional. In our programs, we focus very much on practical learning and project-based learning. So you'll be working almost on a weekly basis on different projects, sometimes individual, but certainly very often also peer-to-peer or in a team. And you'll also be asked to present then some of those projects back and present your code, for example, to your peers and to your faculty, because that communication of your work is also so critical. This will also help you in building a portfolio. So since you are actually getting a lot of experience, writing a lot of code, maybe doing data visualization, et cetera, depending on your program, you'll actually be building a portfolio of experiences to include as you're applying for jobs, traineeships, or internships. Our employability focus means in short already that you are working on skills, you are working on projects, on building a portfolio, but it's also visible in terms of the people that are in the ELU community, including your faculty. So your course facilitators, your mentors are people who are working in the industry. Certainly some of them have their doctorates or come from a research background, but others are really practitioners in the field. So for example, you might be a software engineering student and then be able to meet with your mentor who is an active software engineer working at a company, so that you can actually hear what does it look like in the field or applied on the job as you're studying towards this job. Finally, peer-to-peer learning. So as you hopefully are aware, ELU is an online university. We are offering programs fully online, but that doesn't mean that it's lonely. So I think a lot of us have this prejudice that online learning is just very lonely and for better or worse. And there will be a lot of flexibility in your program. So you can do a lot of self-study and pace some of your weekly content, but at the same time, we do believe that learning happens best in a community, and therefore you are part of a cohort of students. But this also means a community of faculty and staff, the wider community. In terms of admission, since this is a bachelor level program, there are not extremely strict requirements, other than, of course, you need to hold an internationally recognized valid high school diploma. We do find that actually most of the students that come to ELU have already more education or work experience than that, which is preferred but not required. We just find that it's a lot of people who have maybe already done a boot camp, kind of started, but are looking to maybe start or finalize a degree that they earlier had to interrupt, or maybe you've gotten a degree in a completely different field and now want to break into tech. You'll also have to, of course, provide a proof of your academic records and of your English proficiency. If you, of course, have graduated or you live, work in an English-speaking country, we will waive the need for the English proficiency documents for you. We have different start dates in a year. So currently the next start date will be in November 2021, followed by February 2022. And the application process is rather straightforward. There is no application fee, so you can apply to the university for free, but there will be a registration fee. So you only have to pay the registration fee when you know that you're admitted to the program and you actually want to reserve your seat in that cohort. So by that time, you have the certainty that you are already accepted, admitted to the program, and you can book your seat for the preferred cohort. In order to apply, you will fill an online application form on our website, including a short motivation. After this, if you're found eligible, you'll be invited for a video interview with a range of questions. And finally, after that, you'll receive your application results, usually within a few weeks' time. You'll be able to do all of this through our website. But if you need any support, you can, of course, also reach the admissions office. The tuition of the program is 2,900 euros a year, and it's a 3-year program, so that's 8,700 euros in total. We have different payment options, so you can pay upfront for the whole year, or you can choose to pay in installments as well. So that is something that after you are admitted to the program, you can discuss with the admissions officer which of the payment plans would be preferred for you. If you need additional flexibility, do let us know, let the admissions office know, and we'll see what we can do. But generally for a bachelor program, we do not have much scholarship availability. So again, thank you very much for listening, and I do hope you have gotten some information out of this session. This is what it would look like to be a student at the university. So campus will be mainly using 2 different tools. Campus is your course platform, so you will have an account and be able to log in there. As you can see, everything is kind of consolidated into this one space. So you can find your calendar here, where we're announcing different the workshops, but also different events, maybe additional webinars that would be relevant to you, summits, etc. You would be able to communicate to different people, and then, of course, most importantly, see your content, work on the content, your assignments, but also enter into discussions with other students and see the outcomes, the grades of your work. So it's very important to regularly log on to campus, especially at the start of a week, to just see what can I expect from this week, and how will I be able to balance my time between ELU and probably some other commitments you may be having. The second tool that you'll be using a lot as a student at ELU is Slack. This is our instant communication platform. Some of you might already be using it. But you'll be part of a number of channels to get kind of real-time announcements, updates from the university staff. You'll be able to talk and form groups with different students, to contact the university staff, to contact your faculty for any support. And as you see, it's regularly used also for just quick support on some of the assignments, or maybe to schedule a call with another student if you need some help with an assignment or some content or want to discuss it.